Hey BroMob, quick reminder before we get into today's show. We are giving away a free signed DeAndre Hopkins jersey in the month of July. There's 3 ways to enter. The first way to enter is to leave us a review on Apple Podcast. Head over there, leave us a written review. We really appreciate the feedback. The second way to enter is to head over to our website, thefantasyfootballbros.com. Look for the BroMob giveaway image. Click that and fill out the entry form. The last way to enter, which will get you 2 entries into the drawing, is to become an official BroMob member over at jointhebromob.com. Jointhebromob.com is our Patreon website. This is where you can help us support the podcast. We really appreciate any support you give us, and that will get you 2 entries into our drawing if you're an official BroMob member. So don't miss it. Be sure to get all 4 entries for your chance to win our BroMob giveaway.
Yo! Welcome to the show, BroMob. We're your hosts, Chad and Bryan. I'm out of breath now. Today is Monday, July 15th. Always, we've got a great show lined up for you today. We've got our draft strategies and prep coming up for this very, very exciting draft season that's coming up here. We're discussing our picks that we're currently going through right now as I'm talking to you guys in our listener league in the underground, and some very huge news updates in the football world. BroMob, welcome. Bryan, ugly as ever. How you doing? Been a little while since we last recorded.
Yeah, it feels like
a little vacation.
A good year or two, but yeah, it's been good. Took a little time off over the 4th. Chad, you and I did, and so you took a lot of time off.
Yeah,
too
I
much
about
time.
died.
Yeah, yes you did.
I went through a massive detox for about 4 or so days after returning from Nashville.
Yeah.
Considering that all I did was just drink adult beverages and eat hot Nashville chicken.
Adult
so
food.
My body was just that.
And, adult beverages and adult food.
Yeah, it was not apologetic. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, well, welcome back. We had...
I live.
You live. And you die also.
I die.
So welcome back. It was a good couple days off over the 4th of July weekend. Got back at it on Monday. We had the U.S. women's soccer team won the World Cup. That was kind of cool. Jen and I watched that. So congratulations to them. And there's been a lot of news coming out over this past week.
News.
This has been a busy week.
Yeah, a very busy week. Speaking of busy weeks, Bryan, is your birthday this week?
It is. I will be 92 years old.
What are you doing?
That's so creepy.
What are you doing for your birthday?
I will be working hard for all of our listeners. We have been working on Key to the Title quite heavily. We've got a beta version out right now that there's been a few people that we've selected to test and get in there and dig around a little bit, tell us what they like, what they don't like. So we've been working on that. So we'll be continuing that this week and ultimately looking to launch here soon, right?
Yeah, working on big things. So we're staying busy.
Yes, absolutely. So, but yeah, man, other than that, life is good. I got a question for you. So the NFL owners proposed a new season. They want an 18-game season. This has been something that's been talked about for years. So finally, they proposed an 18-game season with players only allowed to play 16 games in the 18-game season. And they proposed this to the NFL Players Association. Did you see this?
I don't get it.
How? How is this possible?
So they want to have 18 games.
Right.
But then people just rest on 2 of them. So there's going to be a bye. So hold on. Is it 18 game season
It's
or
an
is it an 18
18
week?
No, it's an 18 game season. So they want to go from 16 to 18 games, but players can only play 16 games out of the season.
So we're just gonna watch 2 games of backups playing out
Well,
there.
so that's my question is you already have 4 games right now of preseason. So what happens to those games?
So essentially, what they're saying is they want to take 2 of those preseason games and make them count
I don't even think
towards
they want to get
records.
rid of those. They didn't make any assumption. There was no assumptions that you're getting rid of the 4 preseason games. They want 4 preseason games and 18 regular season games. That's 22 games a season total.
Yeah, this sounds
So
insane. It sounds
yeah, so
ridiculous.
well to me it sounds a
Why
little
propose
ridiculous.
2 extra games that no one's gonna watch
Well,
because
so
it's gonna
here's
be
the
backups?
deal. You're not gonna sit. You don't have to sit the whole team. Your whole starting team. You could pick and choose. Like if let's say you have an easy opponent, you're like, okay, hey, uh, Drew Brees, we don't need to play you. Like we're gonna crush these guys. We're gonna put Bridgewater in. This is an easy game. You sit some of your key players, give them some rest. Just no different than what or teams that have locked up a bye for playoffs kind of do in week 17. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds terrible. So
I know.
basically, the teams that are traveling overseas are going to opt to play their backups in those games because why not? That's the long travel that nobody can get ready for. They're going to put their backups in, and they're going to hurt their viewership overseas.
Or here's the other deal: you have a game against a non-division, non-conference opponent. Let's if we lose this game, it really doesn't hurt us all that much. Yeah, we lose the win, but it's not. It's a non-conference, non-division game, so it's not going to be seeding implying when it comes to tiebreakers.
I mean, it makes more sense.
I'll tell you right now,
I don't know.
if I showed up to a Cowboys game and Zeke Elliott, they sat him just to sit him, and they sit Amari Cooper and they sit Dak Prescott and half the defense, I'm leaving. I'm asking for my money back. I'm gonna be so upset.
The ticket price better be 1/3 the cost because 3 of the stars are gone.
It won't be. It won't be. So that's what's
This sounds
being
ridiculous.
proposed right now. I agree.
What it sounds like is this not going to happen?
So it sounds like to me. I think the better thing to do
fairy
would be to
tales.
shorten. I think the better thing to do would be to shorten the preseason to 2 games, and then to make it an 18 game regular season. But then a lot of coaches have said they don't want to do that because the coaches, even though us viewers don't really care about preseason all that much, I actually do. I watch all four preseason games, but the coaches really utilize them for depth to really analyze their talent.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like a lot of these coaches already know, and if they don't, they're one of those coaches that are on the hot seat, and
Maybe.
they're probably going to lose their job next season anyway. They should know who they have and what they have
Yep. I agree.
after 2 games. That sounds awful.
Yeah, it does.
I got excited for more football, but then after you told me 16
Six Kings.
games, 6 Kings,
6 Kings. I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. It's too many Kings. It should be
16
going forward.
games of starters. That just sounds awful.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch baseball.
I don't know. Should we get into this? We got a lot to talk about. I mean, I'd imagine
Yeah, we
probably
got a lot
should
to
get in the
talk
show.
about. Brian, stop talking. We got to move forward. God,
Sorry.
trying to take over our listeners' listening privileges with your terrible voice.
How dare you?
Guys, if you haven't already, I know we've talked about it a bunch. Check out our Patreon page, join the BroMob.com, become an official BroMobster, which comes with it a slew of benefits. We've got things like exclusive content, bonus episodes, automatically getting entered for BroMob giveaways, and guys, just so much more. Again, join the BroMob.com. Brian, it's $2, right?
$2.
I can't even go to McDonald's and buy a Happy Meal for that. So I don't know if I want to buy a Happy Meal. I'd rather throw $2 to get into a drawing for, a DeAndre Hopkins signed jersey any day.
Yep.
So, BroMob, go out there, check out our website, help us out. It's just Brian and I. We're not backed by these major corporations. We're just 2 guys, one smarter than the other, also much better looking than the other. That's all we are. So check us out. Join the BroMob.com. We would be so very grateful for anything you can ever do to support our show. We're already very grateful for you guys listening. Also, be sure to follow along after the show by following us on Twitter and Instagram at FF Podcast. And you can also search the hashtag BroMob for any of our past information, news, articles, shenanigans, dumbness, anything that you can possibly think of. We got we got over like 3,000 or 4,000 tweets out there of just content galore. So check us out. Hashtag BroMob at FF Bros Podcast. Let's start the show.
Here's the news. Yeah.
Little early, but you know what? I won't fault you for it, Brian.
Thanks.
Chargers running back Melvin Gordon, or also as we like to call him, Commissioner.
Commissioner.
Where are they? Where's my
Where's my
touchdowns?
money?
Where's my contract? Melvin Commissioner Gordon has informed the team that unless he gets a new deal done, he will not, I repeat, not be reporting the camp and will demand a trade from the team. And his agent has also stated that if he doesn't get that contract, he intends to also hold out into the season as well. So we're possibly looking at a Le'Veon Bell type of situation. It's not quite confirmed that that's what it's going to be, but there's some speculation and a lot of things in the background that are happening that makes it feel like this could be what that is. The only difference here, Brian and BroMob, is that Melvin Gordon signed until next year as well. This is in one of those tag situations. So if he does miss training camp, he will be fined every day that he misses. So he's going to be losing out on money, not just potential money in the future, but he's going to be missing out on a paycheck every training camp. So it could be big for him, and it could be massive for fantasy owners.
Yeah, it's I saw the news break, right? And then instantly I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Again.
And so we've got a guy in one of our leagues of record, and we just started a dynasty league, a dynasty startup it's kind of a spinoff of our league of record. A lot of the same guys in that league. And last year, one of them drafted Lev Bell in our main league of record, and then we all know what happened with Lev Bell, never played a game. Mm-hmm. And then this year in the dynasty drafts Melvin Gordon at the same, I believe the same spot, the 6th spot.
I think
he got him at,
I think he was at the 4 spot last season.
Oh, no.
So,
I was the 4 spot.
Difference.
He was the 3 spot.
That's what it was.
Yes.
He took the chance on Lev last season, taking the chance on Melvin.
He took the chance on Bell last year. Then he drafts Melvin 1 week before the Melvin news drops. So we posted the news to our League of Records page, and I can't imagine what his reaction. I believe actually I do know what his reaction was. It was like, son of a.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a tough situation, especially for dynasty startups. If you've drafted him, it's not as tough for a dynasty startup because, obviously you're playing for many years, right? Not just 1 year. And so you'll have him, but man, it's tough just right off the bat to take the bullet. If you've already done your redraft league, that's a little tougher to swallow. We're doing one right now, like you said earlier.
We are.
And he went earlier than I thought. Went in the first round, I believe the 6th pick, 7th pick, nope, 8th pick. Never mind, take it back. He went at the 108. Melvin Gordon, yep, looking right at it. So I think some people are still holding out for the hope, which is fine. I haven't changed my rankings. A lot of the industry bests haven't changed theirs either. I still have him at the 5 overall, and I think that's where he'll stay until we really see this play out a little bit longer. What do you think happens? Do you think he gets a deal?
I think he gets a deal, but I think the biggest thing is his draft stock is dropping right now because of this.
Yeah.
And you could get a possible top 3, top 4 running back for pretty cheap. I've seen him go at the back of the first a couple times in some mocks and some things like that. So if you can grab Melvin Gordon at the back of the first,
that's
good
a steal.
on you.
Yeah, that's a steal. There is a chance that I think it's unlikely he sits out. I think they either trade him or they or they sign him. I think one of those two things happen.
I just think they sign him.
Do you?
They pull through with it and just do it.
I don't know. It's a little nerve wracking because it is different with the fining piece this time around. I mean, he's going to lose some significant pay, but if he wants to get paid big bucks, I think that's he sees what Lev Bell just did and what Lev Bell just got paid. He sees what Todd Gurley just got paid, and he wants adequate compensation. And so
I think whatever he makes is going to be a big driver for the Zeke contract.
Well, I think Zeke's probably watching what's going on right now too. Don't you think?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what's going on. So whatever comes with this, Zeke's going to be just waiting, rubbing his hands together, taking care of his magic lamp.
Oh, he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid. The question is he going to get paid by Dallas?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think so? Well, I don't know. I actually don't think he will.
What?
I have a feeling. I have this gut feeling. Dallas is a different organization now. They let DeMarco Murray go a couple years ago.
This is what's going to happen. This is going to be a long-term bet going on.
You got your finger pointing. I don't think
there's a lot of pointing. I'm hoping that it's hitting your chest every time I'm pointing. Just poke.
My chest muscles are absorbing that.
There's no way Dallas doesn't sign him. You don't think they sign him?
You want to put some skin on that? Although I don't, because I think they are going to sign Dak, and I think they're going to sign Amari. They've got the offensive line signing to do. They got to get that all squared away and good to go. They got to take care of the defense. The defense needs to get signed. You got linebackers to sign.
I think you back it up. You put some skin on it.
Well, I mean,
right now we put a long-term bet.
This could be a bet that doesn't play out for 3 years. So
hey, I like playing the long game.
Hey,
let's put some skin on it.
I'll throw some skin on it. So Zeke does not re-sign with Dallas.
I think he does.
What is the 5 fingers say to the face? What? Slap.
Got it.
This is unbelievable. Put it on paper. Put it on the website.
At some point,
don't think they sign him. This is insane.
At some point, I think Dallas and I just want to specify, it cannot be a franchise tag. He's not signing via franchise tag. Okay, right. I'm talking long-term deal. Specificity. I'm talking long-term deal. So okay. So there you go.
I think you're insane.
That might be.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
I don't like you at all.
All right. Let's move on. We got a lot of news here.
That's true.
Chiefs head coach Andy Reid has come out and said that Damian Williams will be their full-time starter for the year, and he has earned the right to be the guy on the offense. Brian, this came. You saw this news seconds after you had posted a little insanity post on Twitter about Damian Williams making it outside your top 20.
Yes.
And then you read this, and you go...
Instantly retracted. Yeah. I instantly retracted my statement. So this came out not today. This came out yesterday, I believe, or the day before yesterday.
Yep.
And I just, for some reason, I didn't see it. And so I posted, I was doing updates to my rankings, and I moved Damian Williams down pretty significant outside of the top 20. I think I had him at 22. And I felt pretty good about it. I was like, I've been wanting to do this for a while. I'm going to take this bullet now. I did not believe that he is the guy. I would say probably an hour later, I stumble on an article in an interview of Andy Reid saying he's earned the right to be the guy and he will be the full-time starter for the entire year. And I immediately start bashing my head. And so don't worry.
Pulls out the eraser.
I instantly changed it. I went back and kind of reviewed some stuff, and I currently have him sitting at RB13. So
there we go.
But I had to go on and not amend my tweet. You can't amend a tweet, but I had to add to my tweet to say, hey, my bad. I fixed it. He's 13. Sorry, guys. Don't kill me. So
I'm gonna back into this bush.
Yep. Homer Simpson's hard. So never happened. Don't look at me.
Another homer. So NFL has officially suspended Jets suspended
Can I assuage you? So, assuage you a question.
The NFL has officially suspended Jets tight end Chris Herndon for the first 4 games of the season, of which a lot of us were originally thinking that it was just going to be a 2-game suspension. And Brian, this actually, Chris Herndon was one of those guys, kind of a sleeper pick at tight end. Even at 2-game suspension, it was kind of like I'll take a chance on him because Sam Darnold really liked him towards the end of the season. They had a nice little chemistry connection going on. But 4 games for a tight end, it's a lot to miss out on.
Yeah, it's an upgrade I would say for Bell. It's an upgrade on Robbie Anderson, especially to start the season.
I think Jamison Crowder.
Yep, I was just
really
about to say that.
Feeds off of this.
Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, it's unfortunate for Herndon. I think he was going to be a guy that people could look to and still could be a guy towards the end of the season that helps you during the playoffs. So don't take him off your radar. Just I don't know that I'm drafting him.
Keep him on your waiver priority.
Yeah.
Keep your fab kind of nestled away for that Chris Herndon week because he's probably going to blow up one of these weeks that he comes back. And if you buy him, I bet there's some owners out there that's going to be hurting at tight end that would love to trade with you instantly. So.
Yep. I agree completely.
All right. And Redskins running back Darius Geis, a.k.a. we like to call him Miami Geis. Just that 80s drum.
Oh man, reminds me of
Ninja Turtles.
Was that no?
Oh, it's what it reminds me of.
Love me some Casey Jones, by the way. So, no, reminds me of the talking car. What was that called?
Knight Rider.
Oh my god, I need some Knight Rider songs.
Kit,
love it. So it reminds me of Knight Rider, but yeah. Anyway,
all right. So Miami Geis suffered a hamstring injury that's questioning his status for the start of training camp. However, he has come out and said that the injury doesn't worry him at all, and he expects that he should be fine to go. So, hamstring injury, I think he's totally fine. It is just it sounds like a really minor thing off-season wise, but hamstring injuries in general, whenever you start hearing about these soft tissue injuries, especially with a guy who's kind of had issues already with injury, not just in his NFL career, but also in his college career, start seeing some other injuries pop up. It's concerning.
Yeah, it's very concerning. So I actually think it's a big deal. I have a firm rule, like hamstrings linger. Even when they're healed, they're easy to re-injure without long periods of rest. Yep. These guys are on the field pushing the limits. I think it's going to be a lingering deal all season. I think
Fournette.
it solidifies for me that I won't touch him. So
reminiscent of Fournette, these running backs who are taking a lot of hits, they've got soft tissue injuries. It just continues to get injured after that because they're not going to not get hit.
Yeah. Well, and think of this too. What team does he play for? He plays for the Redskins. They like the worst play outside. And I'm sorry.
In the NFL.
That what? Yeah.
It was the worst training staff. I don't understand.
That's a whole nother subject. But weather-wise, he plays for a team that plays outdoors, so a minimum of 8 of their games are outside. And then I'm sorry, that team's field is terrible. It's terrible. Yeah. It's consistently complained about as one of the worst fields in the league. It's
like them in Oakland.
It gets sloppy. It gets muddy and slick, cold. All those conditions, terrible for your hammies. And so I just think he's a guy that I think this hamstring issue is a bigger deal than people are really thinking about. And I think you should
Since this is the draft episode, are you drafting him? In any of your teams?
Probably. Not unless I get him really deep as like a flyer, but no, I won't. Yeah. He's a guy that even though he'll be on our rankings, redraft. Yeah. I mean, even though he's a guy that's going to be on our rankings at certain spots, I don't think I'll touch him.
All right, well, that was the news for this week. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter and get your up-to-date updates around the NFL today. I saw that confused you, Brian. Up-to-date updates. Let's move on.
All right, we're optimistic, yes. I like your plan, except it sucks, so let me do the plan, and that way it might be really good.
Tell them about the dance-off to save the universe.
What dance-off? It's not.
Like in Footloose, the movie?
Exactly like Footloose.
Love that
I
drop.
had to keep it going.
I didn't want to drop.
I didn't want to cut it off. We could have cut it off 15 seconds into it,
No,
I'm
you
going to let it go
ride.
the extra 10.
Yeah, you let it ride.
So, BroMob draft season is officially upon us. It's underway. And we here at the Fantasy Football Bros want for you, the listeners, to draft the best teams that you possibly can. So this week, we're going to be going over some draft strategies to consider going into your drafts, some philosophies that Bryan and I hold dear, and then finally the best ways that you can prepare for your big day. Go walk in, strutting your stuff, and just you're peacocking. You just got your feathers are all out, and you're having a good time. You got your big boy pants on.
You wake up in the morning, you say, I put on my big boy pants.
And you take care of everything there. So, Bryan, I don't know about you. This is like one of my favorite times of the year, draft season.
Yep.
Reading up on players, getting my trash talk ready for the day of. It's a good time. So let's start off with our preferred strategies. Or not even just preferred, but just some strategies that we can kind of talk about going into it. And I'll start it off here because since being, the optimal drafter of the two of us, the better of the two, historically, and also voted upon by most individuals in the world. Bryan, I really like the last few years. I've been going very wide receiver heavy towards the beginning of drafts. And like my first round, I love to take a wide receiver just because it's the risk is just so much lower missing at a wide receiver than it is at a running back. So I love to take players like DeAndre Hopkins. I love to take players like Michael Thomas, Odell Beckham, Julio Jones, Devontae Adams. These are the type of players that really intrigue me in the first round. The last couple years in our league of record, actually, I would say just last year, because last year is when I kind of deviated. I took David Johnson in the first round. We all know what happened there. So I kind of was kicking myself that I didn't take the guy that I really wanted was DeAndre Hopkins. I was talking about it all offseason. I knew it going in, and I second guessed myself. I took the running back, but I love taking my wide receivers. So a preferred draft strategy, and I think this is really good for this year because wide receiver in the first 3 rounds really is so deep. A zero running back strategy. This is one of the best years I've ever seen for it because you can, at the end of the first round, let's say you're at the 10 spot, you can grab somebody like Odell Beckham, follow that up with Julio Jones, wait until the 3rd round, and grab possibly Adam Thielen or Stefon Diggs right at the back there. And I mean, wow, you've already got a 1-2-3 punch. That's incredible. And if you want, you can just continue it going because running backs after that are pretty much all the same in that tier, that like tier 3, tier 4 running back range. You're not finding too much of a difference. So this year in 2019, I'm going into a lot of my drafts thinking zero running back. And I'm trying it out in a lot of my mock drafts and I'm liking it.
So I get that. I think it depends, and I don't mind it. I've seen it done well, and I've seen it done not so well, right?
Yeah.
I think it depends on what pick you get. Like, where are you at? So, like, if you're in the first 5 picks, you're not going zero running back. You're not passing on a Zeke. You're not passing on a Alvin Kamara. I mean, I get it, but those are slam dunk picks. Now, if you're in the if you're towards the back of the draft, I would say like the 10 pick, like we just did our league of record draft pick selections, and Chad, you got the 10 pick.
Yep.
So I got the 3 pick. So look, I'm not going zero running back at the 3 pick. Like I'm taking CMC or Zeke right there because I'm pretty sure Barkley's going 1 overall. So I'm happy with one of those 2 guys. I get taking Hopkins, totally could do it, but there's no way I think I'm going to do that. But at your spot, I think 100% like that would make sense for you.
Yeah.
And so I think it depends on where you're at.
Yeah, I agree. And again, just knowing how great and wonderful and perfect at drafting I am, I wouldn't mess it up. But any listeners out there that are scratching their heads, what is zero running back? It's in the name. You're drafting wide receivers in the first 3, possibly even first 4 rounds. You might even throw a tight end in there, but you're not touching running backs. You're probably not even looking at them until the 5th round. So you're looking at guys like Tariq Cohen, James White, Darius Geis, who I'm not touching, but he should be there. Players like that in the 5th round. So that'll be your starting running back. but nobody's beating you at the wideout position because you're going to be loaded with the top talent in the league. So,
Sure. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I've seen plenty of people win championships with 3 stud wide receivers and a decent tight end, and so with really just plug and play running back. So there's nothing wrong with that either. I get it. There's 32 starting running backs in the league. Somebody's going to hit in those later rounds. That's kind of the theory of that. So I get it. I'm a little different. So my philosophy or my strategy preferred is in the first few rounds is to be a little safer. Take the guys that are should be the grand slam for you at that spot. The first 2 rounds specifically for me are not the rounds you take risk. So that it's a big reason why unofficially am staying away from Todd Gurley this year. I get it. If I can get it, again, I'm at 3 spot. Any of my drafts that I'm towards the back end of the draft, if I could get him on the turn in the second round, maybe I consider him there, but I just don't want the risk in the first 2 rounds when I don't have to have it. I can take a guy that I don't need that from, and I get pretty much the same output from. So my goal is to not have a lot of risk in the first 2, maybe 3 rounds, and then beyond that, then start looking for those guys that I'm like, hey, here's an opportunity. Maybe I want to take this guy, and so that's my philosophy in the first few rounds. And then to add to that, I think I like to stay fluid in the draft, and what I mean by that is think of Bruce Lee. He said, you put water in the glass, it becomes the glass. Put water in a jar, it becomes the jar, right? So you put Bryan in the draft, he becomes the draft, right? That's my theory. My philosophy.
I thought you were going to say, don't
put baby in the corner
on the finger.
The finger.
Or lose all that heavenly glory.
You got to say
but
glowy.
Yours was good too.
Thank you.
I guess yours was fine.
So that's my theory, just to let the draft come to me. And what I mean by that is don't pigeonhole yourself into running back. I got to take a running back this round, or I have to take a wide receiver. Look for the opportunities. And that's where having tiered rankings and all that stuff will help you.
Agreed. All right, let's move into some philosophies going into this. Bryan, I know which one you're going to hit on, so I'm going to let you go ahead and hit it first. What is a major philosophy of yours going into every draft? No matter what it is, whether it's redraft, dynasty, or even PPR, standards, I know it's pretty much it's baseline for you. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no quarterback drafting until round 10. That has been my philosophy for the last 4 years, and it hasn't really hurt me in the last 4 years. So, the reason I developed is I saw. I got tired of having injuries to my star players derail my entire season. And I believe in the first 9 rounds, if you can focus on wide receivers and running backs, you just really focus in on 2 positions with 1 pick as a tight end usually. Then, that means you got 8 picks of running backs and wide receivers. You should have 4 deep on each position, or, 3 and 5. So you should be very deep in those areas with those are where the most quality players lie in that area. And while everybody else is taking quarterbacks early, reaching on tight ends super early, I'm taking those depth picks. And I'll tell you right now, Chad, you've seen it over the last few years. It has come in handy having guys deeper in my draft, having Kerryon Johnson to be able to play him as my 3rd or my 4th running back last year. That was super beneficial. Being able to plug and play guys like Lamar Miller come in pretty super handy later in the draft. Having wide receivers deep, being able to take running backs earlier, and I've had injuries. I've had significant injuries. You've had a lot of injuries, Chad.
Oh, I don't even want to hear the word injury.
No.
I'm cursed enough. I mean, it doesn't hurt that, you've had a top 5 pick the last 3 years.
Oh, you're going to throw that
so
at me,
you've been getting a little bit of a luck. A little bit of a luck train.
Did I get lucky when I had the first overall draft pick and David Johnson broke his wrist in the first game of the season? No, I didn't get lucky. So shut up.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna come through the screen. You just
I'll
lit a
move
fire.
All right. So philosophies for me.
By the way,
Um,
I wanna interject here. One last piece. David Johnson went down, my first overall draft pick, and
going.
and I made the playoffs still. So eat it,
Trebek officially eating it. I'll wash it under the table for now.
Thank you.
But you watch yourself, Trebek. All right. So a philosophy for me is one that I'm actually changing because I've done this every year because I always looked at the upside of it and I said, there's a chance, right? There's that chance that this player busts open and becomes the type of player that I'm thinking of. But one that I'm not going to do this year, I'm not touching rookie wide receivers anymore. There's always the opportunity that they break out and they become Odell Beckham Jr. or they are Michael Thomas. But what's most likely going to happen to you is that you're either 1, maybe 2 years too early on that player because they have high upside, but they just don't know the offense. They don't know the NFL yet. So going into drafts, I'm not going to be touching rookie wide receivers. So Brian, let's talk about this for a second. In the same round, you've got N'Keal Harry and Geronimo Allison going. Who are you drafting?
Geronimo, 100%.
In the same round, DK Metcalf, Emmanuel Sanders. Who are you drafting?
Sanders.
There's upside still to these players because Sanders, veteran, possible high volume. Geronimo Allison, still a veteran but young, building the confidence of his quarterback. So there's opportunities there. These rookies, we just don't know enough about them other than their college stats and their attributes. They may come into the league and just be another Roy Williams.
Well, and there's a large jump from college to NFL, especially for wide receivers. Running backs, yes, you got to have the vision, you got to have the understanding of, you got to be able to block, you got to know all those things. That matters too. That's why Zeke Elliott's and Saquon Barkley's only come around every now and then, right? Those guys are generational talents. Look, I love Josh Jacobs this year. I think he's going to be fantastic. However, his opportunity is what is making him so great. Not necessarily the talent's there, I think, but it's not a Zeke Elliott or Saquon Barkley talent.
No.
And so, Saquon Barkley and Zeke Elliott were first-round draft picks for fantasy football from the moment they hit the NFL. Josh Jacobs is not that guy. That's why he's not a first-round talent. So wide receivers just don't fill that same void. It takes a few years. So I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, I'm not touching them. And I'm going to throw one little last question, I guess. And we can, you know what? Let's do this. BroMob, we'll leave it up to you guys to vote in Twitter on this one as well. So, Brian, would you rather, I guess it's kind of a would you rather, would you rather draft for depth or would you rather draft for the best starting squad you can?
I would rather draft for depth. Yeah, because injuries are just a part of the NFL. Even at the quarterback position, injuries happen. Aaron Rodgers' injuries over the years, he misses games. So injuries happen. Guys miss a couple games here or there, whatever. Or sometimes it's not even your guy. It's a guy that hurts your guy. Ben Roethlisberger,
offensive line gets hurt. Yeah,
exactly. Ben Roethlisberger goes down for a game or two. How did that affect Antonio Brown? A lot. Yeah. So that's my point. Is it's better to have depth so that you can move guys around and not have it affect your squad as much.
The idea is to get the most points every week, yes. But if one of those guys that's scoring the high points for you all of a sudden isn't in the equation, what are you going to do? So have that depth. Also, just have a good eye on the waiver wire. Keep your eyes open. See the updates that are coming in, what teams are doing, and kind of go from there. But Twitter, we're very interested to see what you guys have to say about this. So we'll be throwing this up on there as a Twitter poll. Do you rather draft for depth or do you draft for starters? That being said, let's move into our last little bit here, draft preparation. So, Brian, let's talk about some best practices. I'm going to start it off with just come in not hungover.
Yep.
It's honestly, it happens. It's on a weekend. It's in August, so people might be going to weddings. There's a lot of weddings going on in August. You might just be coming home from one of your best friend's weddings. Don't be hungover at the draft because you're not going to be making solid choices and decisions whenever you're at the draft doing this. So take care of yourself, drink a lot of water, still have fun, make good decisions, because the next day are some of the biggest decisions you'll ever make in your life ever in fantasy football.
Yeah, I agree. So you took one of the couple of things I wrote down here, which I agree with completely. I'd also say, to add on to that, just get a good night's rest. Like you said, I think those are important. But around your actual preparations, have a tiered system. Like, tier out your rankings. It helps you see levels of players and where they're at in the tier, so that you can know, like, okay, well, I can wait on this guy. There's still a lot of players in this tier, but there's not as many players in this running back tier. I'm going to take a running back now. Like, it'll help you see a little bit more clearly. Key to the Title is a great piece of that. When we launch that, you'll be able to access it, and we'll have all that stuff tiered out for you. And then one other thing real quick, and then we can jump on, is know your league. I know it's going to sound stupid, but I tell you, it's happened. Know your league's rules, guys. Know if it's a half point PPR. Know if your defense's scoring is a little bit different than other leagues you're in.
It sounds silly, but
know the rules. Take the time take the time and study the rules, and just know what you're doing. So you're not so halfway through the draft you're not like, oh my God.
Yeah, you're not that guy that drafted Derrick Henry in the second round because you thought it was standard, and all of a sudden you find out it's PPR,
full point PPR,
and James White could be scoring more points than Derrick Henry. So
super flex.
Don't be that guy. Super flex.
Yeah, you're instantly like, uh-oh.
Why is everybody drafting quarterbacks so soon? What's happening here?
I'm going to wait forever.
All right, Brian. Well, we are actually on the clock right now in our listener league, the Underground League. So let's go ahead. Let's open up the door and step into the Underground and see what we can do here.
That drop is ridiculous.
It's the creepiest store ever.
BroMob, I'm going to be honest with you. Way too much time went into finding that drop.
It took me about 30 minutes of listening to doors.
So many door slams.
Right one. I made Brian listen to him as well.
So we're on the clock here. We are in the 8th round. We have the second pick in the 8th round right now. Yep. And so here is our team so far. I mean, let's just read off our team so far. So in the first round we took Lev Bell. Then we snuck around and grabbed Michael Thomas in the second round, which was a steal to me. Mark Ingram in the late 3rd. Then we wrapped around, and quite possibly the steal of the draft, George Kittle in the early 4th.
Mm-hmm.
He usually goes back to the 3rd. And so then we wrapped around. We grabbed Tariq Cohen in the 5th and Will Fuller in the 6th. And then the last pick, we have the 11th pick, by the way, just so everybody knows. And then we grabbed Marvin Jones at the 7-11. Down at the 7-11, we picked him up, grabbed him, threw him in the car. Come on, you're coming with us.
Grabbed him, grabbed a Slurpee.
Yep.
Good to go.
And then so now we're in the 8th round, and we're staring at we've got 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs, and a tight end on our team so far. So we're pretty well rounded. So Chad, what are you thinking here?
So, BroMob, here's the craziest thing. It's the 8th round, and I know Brian's bashed him because he's been going too high in drafts, but we're looking at Baker Mayfield right now. And Brian, I told you I was going to give you a nice little fight for this because I know you hate the draft quarterbacks before the 10th round.
I do.
But there's no world in which I've ever seen Baker make it this far. And I don't think there should be a world where he makes it any further. I really want him. But I understand we can draft for depth. There's a lot of options out there still for wide receiver, for running back, and a sneaky... I wanted to bring this up, a sneaky pick at tight end as well. I know we have George Kittle, but that flex position we have allows tight ends as well. Eric Ebron's still on the board. So if you want to grab a guy... I can't talk right now. If you want to grab a guy...
You're having a hard time.
I said Gab. Um,
Gabba guy.
English. If you want a Gabba Gabba, Eric Ebron, high upside touchdown guy. You could throw him in the flex as well.
Yep.
And have some pretty good outcomes. So there's a lot here that we can grab.
Yeah.
But I'm leaning towards, and I'm hoping I can sway you to Baker Mayfield.
So I get it. And this is if you're somebody that doesn't live by my rule and live and die by it, this would be where you take Baker, 100%. Is it as tempting as it is? I would pass on Baker here, and I would wait because these are the guys that are still on the board for a quarterback: Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, Cam Newton, Jared Goff, Garfield himself, Philip. Don't go chasing waterfalls, rivers. Jameis Winston, all these guys still on the board. So there's plenty. Ben Roethlisberger, Dak Prescott. So there's still plenty of talent here at quarterback, which is why I don't want to go Baker here, because I feel like even though we're getting him in the 8th, we're still reaching. Is the way I feel. We're not reaching on the player, we're reaching on the position. So that's my thought there, and I would rather go with a guy like, I mean, here's a Yep, now you know what I'm thinking here. I'm staring at Geronimo Allison. We've got D.D. Westbrook still available. Cortland Sutton's available.
Do you think
Corey Davis?
Corey Davis is a solid pick here? I mean, there's so many other names.
I mean, we just said a couple episodes ago that every Tennessee Titan wide receiver is and now we're talking about Corey Davis. So I just want to put that out there.
But I'm looking at him, and he's really the only wide receiver 1 on a team that's still available, other than maybe Cortland Sutton.
Yeah. Here's a curveball for you.
Curve it.
What if we went Austin Eckler here?
Yeah. So I think it's a bit of a reach, right?
It is a reach, but he won't make it back to us.
He won't make it back to us, and I think he goes 3 picks ahead of us, even to the guy who owns Melvin Gordon.
Yep.
Just simply because of the whole fiasco where he might not even play.
So here's the risk, right? Let's talk through it. You have an 8th-round pick. You take Austin Eckler. Melvin Gordon resigns, and you just wasted your 8th-round pick.
Yes.
Right? Or you take him right here. Gordon gets traded, or he sits out, and you have a top 15 running back instantly that you got in the 8th round. So
Possibly.
My question is...
Or he's sharing the backfield with Justin Jackson, which is another big if.
Well, and you also have to think, too... Well, I don't think that's an if, but here's the other thing, too, is Gordon's got a history of injury. So who's to say that Melvin Gordon doesn't continue that history and get injured, and Austin Eckler becomes a great plug and play?
True.
So there's that too. So I mean, I kind of like where we're at with running back at the moment. I mean, we have 3. Tariq Cohen being our 3rd. I do want to add a 4th, and I wouldn't mind taking the risk of passing on him, knowing that we could probably grab Peyton Barber in the next round.
Yeah.
Maybe even Nyheim Hines might be a great pick later.
Nyheim Hines isn't a bad pick.
Yeah,
He's
later,
a possible
not now.
top 30 guy.
Yeah.
Just being the receiving back he is.
Exactly.
So.
And this is a half-point PPR, so that's why I'm thinking that. So there could be some opportunity here. I mean, I don't know, maybe LaShawn McCoy somehow slips. I think McCoy might have some value for a little bit as a plug-and-play type guy. I don't know. I'm really confused about Buffalo and their running backs right now. But he's the guy, if I'm drafting a guy there, he's the guy I'm drafting.
Agreed.
But and I tell you, I like this Geronimo Allison spot, and I also like D.D. Westbrook. So I'm thinking running back or wide receiver, and I'm leaning more running back because we just went wide receiver. So I think we should pass on Ebron. I really, because and the reason I say that is because we reached early on a tight end. From what I mean, even though we got him at a value, he's early. I typically won't take a tight end until the 6th. Mm-hmm. And I'd rather wait later and try to grab, one of these guys deeper, like Austin Hooper or Kyle Rudolph, Chris Herndon, somebody like that. I know Herndon's suspended, but we have George Kittle, so Delaney Walker's available. I mean, so I'd rather wait a little bit because I think you can get the same output, so to speak. I mean, not necessarily the same; it's a little bit lower, but I think you're kind of there. But if there's a wide receiver that stands off the board to me right now, it's Geronimo Allison and D.D. Westbrook. Those are the two, and I really like D.D. Westbrook here. So
Yeah,
if you like D.D. Westbrook,
let's roll with D.D.
Okay, so we're gonna draft D.D. Westbrook. You don't want to look at Jalen Samuels or Ronald Jones or Austin Eckler.
No, I'm gonna hold off on running back.
Okay,
I'm with you. I'm gonna wait till next round.
Okay, got it. So, all right, great. So we're gonna rock out D.D. Westbrook drafted. All right, so there you go. So we're moving along. Any comments, real quick, before we wrap up, Chad, on picks in our listener league? Anything you like? Any team you really like?
I want to leave it out there and say that the listener league is doing awesome. It's one of the better drafting groups I've been around. A really good group of guys. I absolutely love the fact that Patrick Mahomes was the first quarterback off the board in the 5th round. So
yes.
Kudos to the whole group at not jumping on quarterback in the 2nd or the 3rd. Love it. Yeah, it's great. So it's going fun. It's really fun. It's going great. Let's keep it up. These next few rounds at the end here are going to be what makes and breaks everybody. So
yep, feeling excited about breaking everybody is really what I'm looking forward to.
I'd like to break them.
Break dance.
Kit Kat.
Break into a Kit Kat. That's snap into a Slim Jim, dude. Totally wrong commercial.
I changed it.
Good. Break into a Kit Kat.
All right. Well, BroMob, that's going to do it for this week's show. Be sure to tune in every Monday to stay up to date on the fantasy football world and to gather any insights on how to dominate your fantasy football league. Be sure to check out our website and enter for your chance to win a signed DeAndre Hopkins jersey.
Yeah, it's signed. I just want to make sure everybody knows that jersey is signed by him. His fingers touched a pen and put it on the jersey.
And the ballpoint of that pen touched that jersey.
It blessed it. That's what happened. So if you want to enter, go. You can actually. We have a specific website now, a subdomain. Go to bromobgiveaway.thefantasyfootballbros.com. bromobgiveaway.thefantasyfootballbros.com, and you can enter to win the jersey right there. There's also other ways to enter. It'll explain all that on that page.
If you aren't on Apple Podcasts, you can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, anywhere basically that's in the cosmos, in the interwebs, as some may call it. We're everywhere that you can possibly think of. Follow us on Twitter at FFBrosPodcast, and you can also check out our website, thefantasyfootballbros.com. See you next week, everybody.
Bye, everybody.